Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Good evening and welcome to Sunday Express. Tonight we'll tell you about Dr. William Ruto, the president's first visit to Luo Nyanza, obviously after his win, and we'll be telling you what he said today. But of course, not a very fantastic night for Manchester United fans, going 6-3 against Manchester City. It'll be quite a dark one, but anyway, so is life.
You had to rub it in, right?
Yeah.
Viva Manchester United.
Not now.
Yes, viva. Life is for the living and we're still here. At least we scored something.
Okay.
We scored something. But nonetheless, in as much as the news is concerned, Kakamega is safe, and this is an assurance from the governor after our scare in regard to matters Ebola. This and so much more will be coming up in not so long.
All right, here are the highlights.
Mimi nitashirikiana na viongozi wote waliochaguliwa, kutoka wale wa kiwango ya chini ya MCA, wabunge, maseneta, magavana, wote nitashirikiana na wao ili tuweze kupanga maendeleo ya Nyanza na maendeleo ya Kenya.
I will work with all leaders. President William Ruto pledges as he makes his maiden tour of Homa Bay County. A case of arson. An entire family wiped out in a fire incident in Embu. And excessive sweating. We will tell you when to seek medical attention. This in our Sunday feature. All right, our sign language interpreter tonight is Byron Abuli. My name is John Jacob Kioria.
And I am Regina Manyara.
Let's get on. The government says it will revive the cotton industry as part of measures towards growing the country's economy.
Now, speaking at the Africa Inland Church in Homa Bay Town, where he joined worshippers for the Sunday church service, President William Ruto said plans are underway to introduce the pest-resistant BT cotton in Nyanza region.
Weekly Focatch begins our coverage tonight with that report.
President William Ruto was today in Homa Bay County, where he joined worshippers at the African Inland Church in Homa Bay Town. Here, the head of state participated in a funds drive meant for the ongoing construction of the church building. President Ruto used the opportunity to thank Kenyans for observing peace during the just concluded general elections.
Nataka nichukue nafasi hii kwa heshima kubwa kuwashukuru watu wa Nyanza na watu wa Kenya kwa sababu ya kuamua ya kwamba tunataka kupanga nchi yetu kwa njia ya demokrasia na kwa kuzingatia amani katika taifa letu la Kenya. Kwa watu wote wa Nyanza, mimi nataka niwaambie asante sana kwa kutuchagua kwa njia na utaratibu ambayo ilikuwa na amani.
The president revealed plans to revive the cotton industry as part of the many projects the government seeks to install in the region to improve its economy.
We are going to work together so that we can give you improved BT cotton seeds, so that we can enhance the production of cotton, we can get better returns for our farmers, and we can develop the textile industry in the Republic of Kenya katika harakati yetu ya kupanga mambo ya industrialization, value addition na agro-processing.
The head of state noted that the political period was over and that it was now time for all elected leaders to join hands to deliver to Kenyans. He made the remarks even as Homa Bay County leadership was conspicuously missing in the gathering. Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga has indicated that she was away on official duty in Mombasa.
Mimi nataka niwahakikishie ya kwamba mimi nitashirikiana na viongozi wote waliochaguliwa, kutoka wale wa kiwango ya chini ya MCA, wabunge, maseneta, magavana, wote nitashirikiana na wao ili tuweze kupanga maendeleo ya Nyanza na maendeleo ya Kenya. Nataka pia mjue tunawaheshimu viongozi wale wametutangulia. Tunaheshimu rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta, tunaheshimu Prime Minister wetu Raila Odinga. Na hawa viongozi wetu ambao wametutangulia, tutahakikisha kwamba wako na heshima, wanapatiwa heshima yao wakati wanaendelea na kutusaidia katika viwango zingine.
After the church service, President Ruto addressed locals in the streets of Homa Bay town, promising to come back next month to launch the construction of a housing project. The head of state was accompanied by both serving and former elected leaders from the region, among them Ugenya Member of Parliament David Ochieng and CS nominee for Information, Communication and Digital Economy Eliud Owalo.
Nimewaahidi mimi narudi hapa kwa mambo ya kupanga mambo ya housing. Kesho mimi naanzisha hiyo mpango ya housing kule Nairobi na nitafika hapa Homa Bay in the next 1 month. We will stand with you as Kenyans and we will walk a long way with you until you finish all the promises you made to Kenyans.
For Sunday Express from Homa Bay County, I am Wycliffe Okich.
Mko tayari kufanya kazi na mimi?
Now from Homa Bay to Embu, where 7 family members perished after a fire razed their home in Girimari village, Runyenje's constituency, Embu County.
The 7 included a couple, the 3 children and 2 grandchildren.
Area leaders are now calling on the relevant authorities to expedite investigations on the matter.
Charred remains of what was only Saturday a 3-bedroom wooden bungalow. The only semblance of life being these cooking pots, this paraffin lamp, and in a far distance, this metallic box that remained after the dawn fire that claimed the lives of an entire family. Locals in Gimari village, Embu East sub-county, gather in small crowds as others watch from a distance. Shock and sorrow evident on their faces. According to their father, 85-year-old Benjamin Mudadai, he bid his family goodbye at around 10 p.m. on Saturday night, but when he woke up at 4 a.m., his family was no more.
Hawakuwasha moto hapa kwao. Walipicha huku kwangu. Walikuja tu bila moto. Halafu kijana tukakana na yeye. Ukija kukamua hapa, sababu mimi sina kibiriti, uniletee kibiriti ya kuwasha moto. Na tukalala. Tulipolala, mimi kuamuka kama saa 9:30 hivi, saa 10. Ninaona mwangaza mkubwa sana upande huu. Mimi nikafikiria ni gari zinamulika. Nikatoka nje. Kutoka nje ninaona moto mkubwa sana iko hapa. Nikakuja tu nikakaribia. Nikaona ni nyumba inachomeka. Nikawaita. Hawakuitika.
Among those who perished was a man, his wife, their 3 children, and Mudadai's 3 grandchildren. These 2 goats, possibly the only life saved from this household. For now, questions on the cause of the fire remain unanswered.
Nawaomba tuwe tunashirikiana kila wakati, na pia ningependa kuwashukuru kwa vile mkisikia kitu mnaitika haraka. Lakini hata yule jirani ambaye ako hapa karibu aliniambia wakati alifika alipata already nyumba imechomeka yote. So sasa tumejaribu kufanya yetu na nyinyi tusaidiane na nyinyi ili tuweze kujua ni nini lilisababisha hii moto wa siku wa leo.
Area leaders who arrived at the scene condemned the incident. They, however, appealed to the residents to be patient and give the detectives ample time to conclude investigations.
Tumepata ujumbe ya kwamba kuna watu watu 7 wa familia moja ambao wamechomeka hadi wakafa katika nyumba yao ya malazi, na kwa hivyo mimi kama kiongozi pia nikasema nijilete pahali hapa niweze kushirikiana pamoja na wenyeji na pia familia hiyo tuweze kuwafariji na kuambia pole.
Langu ni kuuliza serikali iweze kukuja kuangalia ni kwa nini nyumba imechomeka, kwa sababu hakuna stima. Pia watu wakati walitoka kwa papa yao hawakuwa wamekosana ama kukuwa na shida yote. Wafanye investigation tujue moto imetoka wapi, ndio hata ukitokea mambo ingine tujue ni nini, ama kulikuwa huko nje kulikuwa na vita ama ya mashamba ama ya kitu gani.
Residents suspect the fire could have been a national attack.
And clearly that's an incident that the investigative agencies need to get to the bottom of, at least to rule out any foul play. Let's move this forward. The county government of Kakamega is assuring area residents that the county is Ebola-free after a scare following a suspected case on Thursday.
Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa says that the results from samples taken from the patient tested negative.
He said the country or the county is well prepared to handle any arising cases.
The Ministry of Health issued a statement on Saturday confirming that the results were negative.
They have urged members of the public to remain vigilant and minimize movement in and out of the country along the western border points.
Tumepata jana matokeo kutoka Kemri. Nimethibitisha kwamba yule kijana ambaye alikuwa na virusi imetoka kuwa negative. So hivi sasa hakuna Ebola Kakamega. Kama county tumeweka mikakati, tuko na isolation center na pia madaktari wetu tumeweka wako imara. Ningependa kuwasihi wana Kakamega ya kwamba upunguze safari ya kwenda Uganda kwa sababu ugonjwa wa Ebola huko kule Uganda.
Now, an orphan from Kakamega County who scored B- is yet to join university due to financial constraints.
Duncan Lukangu's dream to join Egerton University to pursue a course in electrical engineering seems to have hit a wall owing to the lack of tuition fees.
Meet Duncan Lukangu. If he's not busy feeding the neighbors' cows, he is at another neighbor's farm toiling to make ends meet. 1 month after students joined various universities to further their education, Duncan Lukangu, an orphan from Shitoto village, Mumias East, is stranded and remained at home because of lack of school fees. In efforts to raise the school fees, Lukangu has now resorted to moving from one neighbor to another to do manual jobs. Lukangu, who comes from a poor background and being a partial orphan, narrates the struggle he is facing.
I was supposed to join at Egerton University on 22nd August 2022. Mara kwa mara nimekuwa nikirudishwa nyumbani kama bado niko shule ya upili. Nakaa nyumbani mwezi mzima, tena narudi huko, tena wananifukuza. Tena mara ya pili nikirudi nyumbani naanza kustruggle na mambo ya ng'ombe, mambo ya nini, mambo ya ukulima, mimi mwenyewe tu kutafuta moja na mbili ili niweze nikarudi shuleni kusoma.
His mother, Jimas Naswa, said that she is unable to raise the university fee for her son, regardless of the efforts she has done.
Imekuwa ni na changamoto katika fees. Wiki moja watoto wako nyumbani, wiki mbili shule, wiki mbili nyumbani. Na chenye kimekuwa kikinisaidia sana. Zingine na uzako mti, wanakuja wanachukua kuni. Mtoto anasoma kwa mwezi mmoja tena anafukuzwa.
Mtoto huyu kusoma ni shida. Kusoma kwake kipahati angemaliza zamani sana. Lakini sasa shida ndiyo ilifanya narudia nafukuzwa na kaa hapa nyumbani tu. Hana msaidizi.
The family is appealing to well-wishers to come to their aid. Paulina Simiu for Sunday Express.
Let's get to the politics of Nairobi. The newly elected Nairobi County Speaker Ken Ngondi says he will work with Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja to ensure residents of the city receive requisite services.
Ngondi, who attended a church service in Nairobi's Embassy area, said he will execute his mandate to serve the electorate in line with the constitution.
Timothy Kipnusu has that report.
Nairobi County Speaker Ken Ngondi attended a Thanksgiving church service at the Redeemed Gospel Church in Kioria, Embakasi. The Nairobi County Speaker promising to work with the Governor Johnson Sakaja in making Nairobi a better place.
A governor was elected by the residents of Nairobi. They made a choice, Sakaja is the governor. So we must support him 100%. We don't have to bring in issues or different issues. Yeah, that will hinder the service delivery to the Nairobi people.
Ngondi said their political inclination should not deter them from putting strategies in place that will change the lives of Nairobi residents.
So in any decision making, we will give members an opportunity to make a decision which is actually favorable to the people we serve. So it's not about a question of a political party. It is not about a question of who you serve, but we have a responsibility to give our people good laws.
This even as he called upon all elected leaders to stop politicking and focus on executing the promises they made to their electors during the campaign period.
Na tuko tayari kuweka siasa kando, tushughulikie maslahi yenu.
The Nairobi County Speaker at the same time called on county speakers all over the country to make rulings devoid of favor in a move he say will help in ensuring laws and major decisions passed benefit the common mwananchi and not their political masters.
We need prayers for our country so that this country does not make decisions based on influence.
Timothy Kipnusu for Sunday Express.
A section of farmers in northeastern Kenya have ventured into fodder production to ensure they have food for their livestock during the dry seasons.
The group of 55 members are irrigating fodder in a 6-acre land, and a venture that began in 2018 after the farmers lost hundreds of animals to drought.
Channel 1 now highlights a success story that could offer relief to the constant lack of pasture if replicated in other drought-hit areas.
At a glance, you might be forgiven to think this is not Garissa County. It's all green and seemingly not suffering the effects of drought despite the long dry spell that has affected the region. But this is Garissa County. They say an unpleasant experience induces caution. In 2018, a section of farmers in Garissa lost hundreds of animals to drought. Today, they said farmers walk a journey of success. Plenty of fodder for their cows is evident.
Whatever is being grown is completed and done by just, it doesn't even need, it doesn't even reach that demand. It doesn't cap the demand.
The 55 farmers through a farmers cooperative, have managed to irrigate fodder in a 6-acre land along the riverbanks. Hassan Mohamud, Secretary General of the cooperative, says that they started as a society, later transforming into a cooperative with the help of USAID. The farmers say that even though the fodder has not gotten to a level where they can sell to other farmers, it is enough to feed their animals. Saidia Muhammad Abdullahi, a beneficiary, says fodder farming has high returns and is now urging the government to support more farmers in the sector. The farmers are now seeking construction of more canals that will help in directing the water to the farms, saying most water goes to waste, especially during the rainy season.
Chunga ndio shida mingi. Kila mnyama yote anaangalia tu bandi hii. Yote kiboko, bunda, ng'ombe, mbuzi. Mtu ambaye anachunga hii nyasi anasimama saa 12 mpaka saa 12 hakai hata kidogo. Asubuhi.
Now, indeed, if we are doing large-scale, farming of fodder, it could actually come in handy, especially now that we have over 20 counties that are staring at drought.
Which tells you now stopping, to rely on rain-fed agriculture.
Indeed.
Would actually be a big boost in terms of dealing with some of the problems you're dealing with right now. 7 counties affected by drought so far, threatening to hit another 17, which would mean that more than half of the country is affected by drought. But this is one simple step towards eradicating the effects of drought. So we move on.
Now let's speak agriculture, where farmers in Kakamega are utilizing community seed banks established at the Ingotse market in Navaholo to preserve indigenous seeds which are considered to be at risk of extinction.
Speaking during a seed fair at Navaholo, Kakamega County, Seed Savers Network Program Officer Masi Mbani revealed that they are working with smallholder farmers who face a myriad of challenges in producing crops for both subsistence and commercial farming.
Timothy Kipnusu with the details.
Agriculture being the backbone of any growing economy, farmers in Kakamega County appear to have left nothing to chance by taking the initiative to spur their income. The farmers have embraced a new and creative way of ensuring their food basket is full. Meet Seed Savers Network, a non-governmental organization which has managed to encourage the farmers in Navaholo, Kakamega County to practice organic farming. These they have achieved by rallying them to preserve indigenous seeds which are considered to be at risk of becoming extinct.
Apart from seed saving, we also encourage tree planting and indigenous trees, because we do model fossil analysis to identify which are these crop species that are getting extinct.
The organization conducts model fossil analysis to identify the crop species that are at risk of getting extinct and obtain their seed to be stocked.
Tunajaribu kuelimisha wakulima wetu waanze kutumia mambo yetu ya zamani kama kupanda mimea yetu na mbolea ya kienyeji ambayo haina chemicals.
The preserved seeds are raised through organic farming methods which are considered the best model to raise viable seeds that can stay for long and maintain the characteristics of the parent crop.
Seed Saver wametusaidia kwa sababu tutarudisha ile utamaduni kupitia mbegu ya Seed Saver.
In Kakamega alone, Seed Savers Network works with over 400 farmers, with 10 seed ambassadors who ensure indigenous seeds alongside other seeds are collected and preserved.
We empower these farmers by giving them those tree seeds, and they are able to replant them. The crop vegetables that are getting extinct, we identify them and give those species to farmers, such that we have a wide range of diversity in our communities.
The organization, which has its headquarters at Gilgil in Nakuru County, works with farmers from Kakamega, Viga, Baringo, Lamu, Kilifi, Busia, and Nakuru, with their membership standing at 61,000 farmers across the country, who benefit from the training and network with each other during seed fairs.
Nzuri sana kwa sababu sasa tunaeleza watu miti ambayo inaweza kupandwa pamoja na mimea ya kawaida inaleta rutuba kwa udongo, na ukipanda pale mimea ingine unavuna vizuri.
To some sad news now. At least 125 people have lost their lives and 100 others are nursing injuries following a football match stampede in Malang, Indonesia.
The incident happened after a riot police fired tear gas at fans who streamed onto the pitch after a match between two Indonesian rival teams.
The 125 people lost their lives in the aftermath of a football match between Arema FC and Persebaya Surabaya at Kanjuruhan Stadium in Malang City, Indonesia. Thousands of fans surged towards Kanjuruhan Stadium exits as police tear gas spectators who invaded the pitch. As fans fled towards the exits, there was a build-up in the process of accumulation that led to shortness of breath due to lack of oxygen, which later caused the suffocation of many. 42,000 tickets were sold for this particular match, despite the fact that the stadium's capacity is 38,000 people. Indonesia President Joko Widodo has now ordered that all matches in Indonesia's top league be stopped until an investigation has been carried out.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I regret this tragedy and I hope this is the last tragedy to occur in Indonesian football. We cannot have any more in the future. Sportsmanship, humanity and brotherhood in the nation should be upheld together.
According to Football World's governing body FIFA, crowd control gas should not be carried or used by stewards or police at football matches. Indonesian officials at one stage put the death toll in the disaster as high as 174 people, but this was later revised downwards. For Sunday Express, Efi Nyakidi.
Quite unfortunate there. And now a quick update is that the country is holding a vigil after that crash and losing 125 people. And the FIFA president, that is Gianni Infantino, says, and I quote, that this is indeed a dark day for all involved in football and a tragedy beyond comprehension.
And you know where, in countries where the residents love football, in the sense like what you see here in Mashemeji Derby between Gor Mahia, for example, and AFC Leopards, or what you would see in Tanzania. There's a similar situation, but of course ended up very sadly, obviously, after they invaded the pitch. You could imagine it was because of the emotions that emanated from probably
you see
the game.
Then losing at home. They couldn't take it.
All right. The right to adequate housing is a human right recognized in the international human rights law as part of the right to an adequate standard of living. But for the residents of Mukuru Kwajega in formal settlement, this remains a pipe dream.
Lucy Anglu brings you the plight of residents pushed into squalor after their houses were demolished by alleged developers in October of 2021.
When the bulldozers arrived, without warning nor niceties, they landed on the houses that Patricia Katole and Gideon Mutua had called home, as well as a source of earning. No one could stand in the way of the monsters. They came tagging along police officers armed to the teeth to ensure that no one resisted the onslaught on their structures. Katole has lived in Mukuru Kwanjenga for over 25 years. She has earned her income in form of the rent charged on her tenants, but today she is a squatter living in squalor.
Kama mimi nilikuwa na tuploti tatu tule tulikuwa nasomesa watoto nayo, hata hakuna kitu nimeokoa. Wakati wa kupomolewa pa kulala hatukukuwa na mahali pa kulala popote.
The door to her shack, made of carton boxes and tattered pieces of cloth, say it all. Her life now in outright contradiction with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 1 that advocates for freedom from poverty through access to basic human needs of health, education, and sanitation. It undermines Sustainable Development Goal number 8 on the need for access to decent work and economic growth that would have ensured that people like Katole live livable lives.
Ndio tumekuja tukajenga hii mahema. Sasa baada ya kujenga hii mahema, na mimi nimeona njangala kubwa sana, mimi sijawahi ona tena. Nilikuwa na watoto wako shule. Hata nilikuwa sasa nimerudi nyuma kabisa.
Even with this, Katole has ensured that her 2 children get an education up to university level. The situation is not any different from Gideon Mutua, who has to borrow a basin to take a bath. It is a debasing life that they have to endure.
Hapa tumepata shida mingi. Kwanza shida ya njaa, malazi na kuwa hatukui comfortable. Kwa vile sasa mtu analala vile hakuwa analala there before. Na hiyo ni shida moja tumeface hapa.
As for the youth, they are unable to make a headway in life as they join the rest of the slum dwellers in the unforgiving straits of city life in the shacks. An elder, Gideon Thuranira, has lived here for over 20 years, and he avers he had never seen anything like this.
Kutoka 1995 hivyo tulikuwa tukikuja tunapata kuna wale wenyewe walikuwa hapa wameshika shamba. Tukikuja tunapimiwa na viti kiasi fulani, halafu unatoa pesa kidogo. So tulinunua kwa mambrokers. Baadaye ndio tulirudi kujua hii shamba ni la mwenyewe, na tukajua ya kwamba ni la Orbit Chemicals.
His hope is that the residents will find a reprieve once the government is able to resettle them. Chief Evans Munene, who has been on the forefront to find a way out for the residents, says the government has plans to resettle the victims of the eviction.
At the same time, tunawashawishi watu wasikae pale kama hakuna biashara mtu anafanya pale, sababu maisha lazima iendelee. Tukingoja mwelekeo wa koti, maisha lazima iendelee. Kwa hivyo hata kama ni pesa kidogo unayo ama ile kibarua unaendaga kila siku, unatafuta njia ya kujikimu kimaisha, tukingoja mambo mengine ya serikali.
What stands in the way now is the ruling expected from the courts.
Wakati koti itatoa mwelekeo, hiyo mwelekeo tutafuata. Kama kuna njia badala, ndio tutafuata tu, serikali itapena mwelekeo. So hata sisi tunangoja mwelekeo wa serikali.
Even as this goes on, the residents continue to suffer the indignity of having no shelter over their heads. What reprieve is there for the slum dwellers of Mukuru Kwanjenga, forced into squalor by faceless developers? Will their questions be answered someday?
Of course, that's the big question. It's time for us now to take a breather on Sunday Express. But of course, when we come back, we have Moni's lined up for you and sports.
Please, we take a quick breather. We'll be right back.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
What is it that you want Mika to tell you? Why don't you ask her? And if you tell me, then I will keep my promise to you.
Stay away from my granddaughter, and I want you to get out of here.
Oh, of course I wasn't planning to stay here at all.
You were an imposter. You were a liar. You were a swindler. No! Asapa!
Ando, I don't want us to break up, my love. You end up hurting people, just as always, but you will not get away with it this time.
It's not like that, Valentina. Valentina, let me explain to you. Valentina!
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express.
Now off to the counties. Residents of Lukenya sub-location in Machakos County are demanding a lasting solution from the Kenya Wildlife Service over increased attacks by wild animals.
Residents are accusing KWS over inaction to deal with increased loss of human lives and destruction of crops by wild animals.
In the past 3 months, hyenas have attacked and seriously injured 3 children who were rushed for medication at the Machakos Level 5 and Kenyatta National Hospital, with one of the 3 succumbing. Residents also decried the failure by KWS to give direction regarding the compensation of the affected families.
We are having a lot of wildebeests, giraffes and zebras that have come into the community, and they have actually gone into the farms and destroyed everything that is there. And the residents are really angry. Actually, they are saying they don't want to see the animals here. This is a clear case of human-wildlife conflict affected by climate change.
This even as members of the Kenya Internally Displaced Persons Organization have raised concerns over a scheme by some individuals to dispossess them of their land. Led by their patron Peter Tena, the organization now wants the incoming government to investigate influential individuals in the Ministry of Land, claiming that they have hatched a plan to hive off sections of the land to private developers.
From our county, Mr. Njero, that he come and do a clean up in the ministry. For instance, there are several parcels of land which belong to us in this county. Those parcels of land, unless we had to whistleblow, they could have been stolen by the cartels. So we ask the cabinet minister, the cabinet secretary, who is from our region, to rise up and come clear to help us uproot these cartels.
Meanwhile, lack of enough land and title deeds in most public schools is among the major challenges that has derailed afforestation measures in Busia County. Speaking in Malaba Primary School, Busia Forest Officer Vitalis Osodo appealed to the school administrators to ensure they acquire the title deeds from the government in order to promote such efforts.
Our main aim is to plant trees and ensure that at least the issue of climate change effect are reduced in a way. So far in Busia County, we are doing much. This year, we managed to raise 3 million seedlings. And as we speak, half of it has already been planted out. and we are optimistic that our tree cover is going to increase from that.
Elsewhere, Kenya University Staff Union has told of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission for what it claims as involving itself with the issues of university salaries. The union leadership in the Masinde Muliro University branch want SRC to keep off the university workers' salaries.
Katika baadhi ya ile mikataba ambayo tumefanya, kila wakati tunakubaliana na mwajiri, SRC nayo inachukua wajibu wa yale mazungumzo na mkabala ambao tumeandika na mwajiri, wanabadilisha na kusema kwamba ati mwajiri hawezi kulipa hizo fedha, na ile hali tumekubaliana na mwajiri ana uwezo wa kulipa zile fedha. Washughulikie mambo ya kupeana mwelekeo tu kuhusu mambo ambayo wamechunguza kama nyongeza ya mishahara, na sio kudhalilisha wafanyikazi kwa kupinga mkabala ambao umefanywa baina ya wafanyikazi na mwajiri.
Finally, the youth are being sensitized and trained on how to be entrepreneurs and grow their skills in the growing global online business. Speaking during one of their sensitization and training sessions, FXPESA Chief Revenue Officer Monica Jagenfeld reiterated the need for the youth to continue embracing the trade, noting that it was one of the best ways to tackle unemployment rates in the country. Collins Shadrack for Sunday Express.
Now, if you have a problem of sweating a lot, this is something you need to listen to. One of the key functions of a skin is regulation of the body temperature, and usually you meet people who sweat when in a hot environment, when working out, and sometimes when undergoing stress.
But just what is considered excessive sweat? Juliet Njoroge now tells us more about hyperhidrosis, a term that refers to excessive sweating.
Imagine a situation where your palms are dripping wet to a point of avoiding physical contact with other people, say through the shaking of hands. Hyperhidrosis refers to excessive sweating that causes distress.
So hyperhidrosis is a condition where you have excessive sweating, which is beyond and excessive to what the body needs for cooling. So you'll notice that a lot of patients have generally a lot of sweating, but those who have excessive sweating is now when you come to hyperhidrosis.
There are two types of hyperhidrosis, primary also known as focal and secondary also known as generalized. As Dr. Hashim explains, for primary hyperhidrosis, the sweat occurs in specific areas, usually at the palms of the hands, soles of the feet, underarms, and the face.
Hyperhidrosis, there are two different types, and what we call primary focal hyperhidrosis, or the essential type or the primary type, which is basically the genetic type. And then you have the secondary or the acquired type, which is a form that comes more towards adults compared to primary focal, which it's mostly seen in children.
For secondary hyperhidrosis, sweat occurs on the whole body and it happens even during sleep. There is an underlying medical condition to this type of hyperhidrosis.
So as soon as you kind of treat the cause of hyperhidrosis, for example, tuberculosis, the sweating would actually go down, right? When it comes now to the primary focal hyperhidrosis, you see, the entire cause is a genetic factor, which is causing an excessive increase in the sweat gland stimulation, which is causing an excessive sweat production.
For Edith Kimani, she was born with primary hyperhidrosis, which she says affects her social life and career choice.
Being young, you really don't know, but now at some point you stop doing some things, like playing without shoes. That was a no-go zone to me. Going to people's houses without shoes or socks was a no-go zone for me. So as a kid, you really don't know how to take it, but I wanted to be a doctor personally. But now, when you do gloves, technically by the time you're 10 minutes into practicing or doing whatever you're doing, you're wet. The gloves are wet. When you touch someone, imagine I'm coming to you as a doctor and I need to see part of your body. Then when I touch you, when you sweat, you freeze, like your hands are freezing cold.
Hyperhidrosis Awareness Kenya is an initiative started by Martin Kimamo to help create awareness about hyperhidrosis. Martin, from a family of 4, is the only one who was born with primary hyperhidrosis, and due to the lack of knowledge about excessive sweating, people around him made fun of his condition.
It was up until 2007 when I came across the TV show don't know whether you can remember the Tyra Bank show. It caught my attention because I sat down and I was like, okay, so this condition has a name, it's hyperhidrosis. And from there is when I started doing the research. And the more I went deep into the research, I could only see unfamiliar faces. I didn't see people who look like me.
For excessive sweating, Martin recommends those affected to seek medical attention from dermatologists who conduct a background check. Other causes that may trigger the sweat include anxiety, drug abuse, alcohol consumption, and spicy foods. The dampness resulting from the excessive sweating also has a negative impact on the skin and may lead to fungal skin infections such as athlete's foot.
One very common complication that we do see is fungal infections, because you see the skin is damp, so there is more availability for the fungal infection to spread. So one of them is like tinea corporis. Tinea angam is where you have an infection of the nails. Those are kind of the complications initially we see.
Topical treatments are offered as a solution for primary hyperhidrosis, including use of antiperspirants for the specific area affected by the sweating.
When you talk of a cure, it's very difficult to cure such a condition. Rather, you manage it, or you start telling the patient of how to live with the condition with help from medications.
For secondary hyperhidrosis, the underlying condition is treated first. Research shows that nearly 5% of the world's population suffer from hyperhidrosis, a condition that easily has a negative impact on all aspects of life, from low self-esteem to social isolation and embarrassment. Reporting for KBC Channel 1, I am Juliet Njoroge.
Well, now you know, sweaty palms especially.
Sweaty palms. All right. It's obviously a medical condition that can be handled. So if you have such, just go see a specialist.
No, I'm just yes, if you have such.
If you have such.
Yes. Now, ever wondered how the internal heat of the earth, otherwise known as geothermal, is processed into electricity?
In this week's episode of The Process, a weekly news feature, we focus on geothermal power generation.
We are here at the Kengen Geothermal Generation Plant in Naivasha to get to witness the process of geothermal power production. We're taken to the steam fields, the actual source of geothermal power.
Once then, of course, the geoscientific team has identified the area. The infrastructure comes in to do the well sites and also the access roads. Now, once that has happened, then that site is transferred to another department called drilling and logistics. Now, drilling and logistics are responsible for drilling of the well.
The team goes to the fields, then we collect data, and that data is what is used to site the wells. A suitable site for us to be able to drill that well.
The process of geothermal power making begins here. The steam comes from the steam fields through steam inlets on either side of the plant to allow the steam to flow more efficiently into the turbine.
And the turbine is laid such that you can be able to ensure the steam flows from two sides so that it is very efficient. It expands very efficient from the first stage to the last stage.
The steam enters the power plant and goes through a separator that separates the water and the steam and ensures that no water gets into the turbine.
Once the steam is at the plant, then we will take it through a steam scrubber, and the objective is to remove any water that has remained or that has come with the steam.
The steam must be 99.99 dry to be able to operate the turbine in a safe way. The dry steam enters the plant and rotates the turbines at 3,000 evolutions per minute. Once the turbine rotor rotates, it also automatically rotates the generator because the generator rotor is within the electromagnetic field. Electricity is then generated.
And once the generation or the turbine rotor rotates, then it rotates the generator rotor.
The electricity is generated at 11,000 volts and later to 22,000 volts to be able to be transmitted to other areas. Once power is generated, it is transported from the generator through giant cables that are inside a protective cable casing that protects the cables from interference or accidents and carry the power cables from the generator to the transformers. We then go to the control room.
So from here we can see the whole plant overview.
Once the steam or the condensate has been used to turn the turbine, it is exhausted into the cooling tower basin and condensed back to water.
So this is the final stage of the process. After the steam has been converted to electricity, transported through the electricity power grids, and then the steam comes in through the condenser into this cooling tower at 105 degrees Celsius. It is cooled to 23 degrees Celsius. It is then re-injected into the reinjection tank where the process begins all over again.
Nisi Manokoth for the process.
You know, at a time when Kenyans are, crying foul over the high cost of electricity, the answer may just be renewable energy.
Absolutely, and a fantastic job done there by Nisi Mano. Time for us to switch over to sports. Of course, there's a game that is upcoming in about 10 minutes. La Liga between Real Madrid and Osasuna. But of course, in La Liga, but on set tonight, hold on a minute, on set tonight, Regina Manyara supports Manchester United. But the bad news of the Manchester United loss have to be delivered by Karen Kibet, another supporter of Manchester United. Over to you, Karen. Over to you, Karen.
Over to you, Karen.
John, Jacob, Kioria, all is well. My script is not really kind, but I will bring you those results later on. Let's now talk sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Kenya's Amos Kipruto won his first London Marathon title today in the United Kingdom. Kipruto made a move with 5 kilometers left and finished in 2 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds to take his maiden marathon title. Meanwhile, Kenya's Timothy Kiplagat Rono won the 2022 Melbourne Marathon in a new course record time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 12 seconds.
Rono broke the previous course record of 2 hours, 10 minutes and 47 seconds set by compatriot Dominic Ondoro in 2013. Fellow Kenyan Cornelius Kibet Kiplagat took the second position after clocking 2 hours, 10 minutes and 24 seconds. Melbourne's Racy Edwards completed the podium in 2 hours, 14 minutes and 41 seconds. Beatrice Cheptoo made it a Kenyan double and she won the women's race in 2 hours, 27 minutes and 58 seconds. Izzybat Doyle finished second ahead of Ethiopia's Yeneba Margu Ejigu, who finished third. Elsewhere, Kenya's Amos Kipruto won his first London Marathon title today in the United Kingdom. Kipruto made a move with 5 kilometers left and finished in 2 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds to take his maiden marathon title. Ethiopia's Leol Gebrselassie finished second in 2 hours, 5 minutes and 16 seconds, beating compatriot Bashir Abdi to the third position. Veteran runner Kenenisa Bekele dropped off the leading group, as did last year's champion, Ethiopian Sisei Lema.
By this young 23-year-old who will become the youngest female winner.
In the women's competition, Ethiopia's Yehualo Yamzarf clocked 2 hours, 17 minutes and 26 seconds to emerge victorious, 41 seconds ahead of defending champion Jeb Kosgei. Ethiopian Alemo Megertu finished third. This year's London Marathon is taking place in October for the third and final time after it was moved in 2020 due to COVID-19. It will return to its traditional April date next year.
Congratulations, Amos Kipruto, and thank you, Nora, for that report. Moving on, Kenya's pop Sports Authority basketball team has relinquished their Africa Zone 5 basketball title after being beaten 78-67 by Alexandria Sporting Club of Egypt in the final match played at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The Kenyan team booked a place in the finals after seeing off APR of Rwanda 61-39 in the semi-final match, while the Egyptian team narrowly beat REG of Rwanda 49-45 in the semis. Rwanda's REG finished third after beating their counterparts APR 42-39 in the third place playoff match. Alexandria Sporting Club has now booked a ticket to the finals of the FIBA Africa Cup for Women's Championship. The other Kenyan team in the event is Equity Hawks. They were eliminated in the quarterfinal stage after going down 40-52 to REG of Rwanda. Three-time Nagano Marathon champion Isaac Macharia has opened a vocational training center in Ngong as a quest into empowering the youth towards self-employment. Macharia and his development partners launched the vocational training center at Kenswed organization in Ngong, Kajiado County. Macharia said that the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the need for sustainability, and his quest to empower the youth is driven by the challenges experienced during the lockdowns. Kenswed organization was started in 2012 as a secondary school, and among the partners are former world #1 in doubles and former world #4 tennis player Jonas and Swedish pop star Mans.
Both me and my colleague Jonas Bjorkman, he's an ex-tennis professional and I'm a singer, so we want sports and music to be a big part of the heart of Kenswed. So that's why we created the multi-sports here in the middle of the grounds. That could be better. We are definitely going to make it even better. But yeah, sports and music is what we burn for and what we want to be big at Kenswed.
I am so impressed of these youths. They are giving me this extreme engagement every time. I am so impressed that they can perform, that they can do all of this that they're doing. If the Swedish youths had the same motivation, they could be outstanding. The Kenyan youths here at Kenswed, they really do, and they will be amazing. I am sure of that.
And finally, Manchester City moved to within a point of Arsenal after butchering Manchester United in an incredible English Premier League game at the Etihad. Phil Fodder and Erling Haaland both scored hat-tricks to secure the victory.
Confidence and swagger about him. Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Manchester City lead with 7 minutes played.
Look at Foden, he's able to just run off Ericsson.
Attempt to continue, but for the moment, Manchester United down to 10, and Haaland leads, and did it go over the line? The referee looks at his watch and says goal.
Admit that's a fair reflection of what we've seen. And you highlighted a short time ago that
De Bruyne. Manchester United trying to get numbers back. Haaland! 2 goals!
And he's able to just use that to guide it past De Gea.
As United push forward, look at the gaps at the back. De Bruyne was caught late. Haaland, Fodder! It's 4! A row. It's a great first touch from Anthony. And the shot's not bad either! Well, hands down the best moment for the visitors of the afternoon so far. Anthony's second. Haaland. Foden. It's another hat-trick! Fred. Sight of goal, and it'll be followed up by Anthony. Very hard for Erik ten Hag to pull positives when you concede 6 on Derby Day. His team battling on late on, and the referee points to the spot. This is going to be a penalty. Who will attempt to score? And does a well-taken penalty to the postage stamp corner.
Butchered was too harsh, but it is what it is. We next face Everton. We do hope that we will redeem ourselves as Manchester United when that fixture comes. I know my colleague Kioria has a lot to say.
You know, I'm actually trying to guess the person who wrote this script. Because, I mean, yeah, Butchered. It is a similar case. It's almost similar case because I mean,
just say Manchester United lost to Manchester City.
Lost
after scoring 3 against
lost is 1-0, 2-0.
See, that's a concession from a fellow Manchester United supporter. 6-3 is butchering.
In the sports world, 6 is a thrashing. It's a proper
a thrash.
It's serious.
Not butchering.
They didn't do us well, but we definitely hope
lost,
that
we'll do better.
Yes, we will do better.
Yes.
Okay, there is hope for
But then how much did we spend in buying some people who ended up seated on the bench?
Story for another day.
Erling Haaland is Manchester United's biggest nightmare.
Of course.
But then again, there's hope for...
No, Haaland is every EPL team nightmare.
Except Manchester United, because he's more of a nightmare than all right, let's just put a cap on Sunday Express. Thanks very much for watching. My name is John Jacob Kioria.
And I am Regina Manyara.
And I'm Karen Kibet. Have yourself a peaceful night. Our sign language interpreter tonight was
Brian Abu.
Kumbuka kila Monday ni Iris serving you nothing but the best in reggae music.
Aisha ni yangu, washugulika na yako.
And on Tuesday, it's all about Kenyan music, bringing you the best from the 2-5 flow.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
And of course, to all you hip-hop heads, we've got you covered each and every Wednesday. Not forgetting, we've got some R&B on the side.
Let me a jigger, let me see the woman that is with me.
Now, every Thursday, tunavuka border across Africa to bring you nothing but the best for Afro Thursday.
Ready for burn up one.